results of SSC and equivalent examinations published with pass rate of 83.04%. 1,82,129 students get GPA 5. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina asks authorities concerned to find out reasons as to why boys lagging behind the girls in academic results.
আমাদের ছেলেমেয়েদের ভিতরে যে মেধা আছে সেটা বিকাশের সুযোগ আমাদের করতে হবে। কেন আমাদের ছাত্ররা পিছিয়ে আছে বা কেন কি হিসেবে কম, এটা বোধহয় আমাদের একটু দেখতে হবে।
Number of students with GPA 5 declines, but overall pass rate of SSC examinations increases due to various government initiatives, says Education Minister. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina invites Italian businessmen to invest in Bangladesh as Italian ambassador calls on her. The country is being run by Sheikh Hasina's government, elected by people. Concept of unseen power is BNP's psychological trauma, says Obaidul Qadir. Bangabandhu Railway Bridge is now fully visible over River Jamuna and expected to be inaugurated in December this year. Afghanistan declares emergency as more than 300 people die in flash floods in the country. And Zimbabwe beat Bangladesh by 8 wickets in the last T20 or 5-match series in Nirpur. Assalamu alaikum viewers, this is News at 10 on BTV and BTV World. I'm Imtiaz Ahmed Siddiqui. You just heard the headlines. Let's move on to the details of those and other stories.
আজ শহীদ দিবসে শপথ নিতে হবে যে পর্যন্ত 7 কোটি মানুষ তার অধিকার আদায় করতে না পারবে সে পর্যন্ত বাংলার মা বোনেরা, বাংলার ভাইয়েরা আর শহীদ হবে না, গাজী হবে।
The results of Secondary School Certificate SSC and equivalent examinations 2024 under 11 education boards were published today with 83.04% pass rate. A total of 1,82,129 students got the highest grade point average GPA 5 in the examinations in the SSC and equivalent examinations. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina unveiled the results virtually pressing a button at a function at her official residence Ganabhavan in Dhaka this morning. Earlier, Education Minister Mohibul Hasan Chaudhry handed over the combined result statistics of the SSC and equivalent examinations to the Premier. The chairman of 10 education boards, 9 general, 1 madrasa, and Director General of Directorate of Technical Education also handed over the result statistics of their respective boards to the Prime Minister. Speaking on the occasion, Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina said her government has been bringing changes into the curriculum and the method of education mainly to bring out talents and creativity of the students. The Prime Minister also asked the authorities concerned to find out the reasons as to why male students are declining in number and lagging behind girl students in their academic results.
আজকে এই 15 বছরে আমরা এটুকু বলতে পারি যে আমাদের যেমন সাক্ষরতা হারও বেড়েছে আর মেয়েদের সংখ্যাও বেড়েছে, কারিগরি শিক্ষা হার বেড়েছে, এটাই সবচেয়ে বড় কথা। যেহেতু পৃথিবী এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে, টেকনোলজির যুগ, তথ্য প্রযুক্তির যুগ, তাছাড়া শিল্প বিপ্লব, এটা তো প্রতিনিয়ত পরিবর্তনশীল, সেদিকে লক্ষ্য রেখেই প্রতি উপজেলায় একটা করে আন্তর্জাতিক মানের সরকারি টেকনিক্যাল স্কুল ও কলেজ নির্মাণের আমরা উদ্যোগ নিয়েছি। প্রতি জেলায় একটি করে বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় করে দিচ্ছি, প্রতি বিভাগে মেডিকেল বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় করা হচ্ছে। আমি সরকার আসার পরে যেটা করেছিলাম যে মেয়েদের জন্য কাজের সুযোগ, যেমন প্রাথমিক বিদ্যালয়ে শিক্ষক আমি বলে দিলাম 60% মেয়েরা কাজ পাবে। এখন দেখলাম যে ভালোই ফল পেয়েছি, কিন্তু ছেলেরা পিছিয়ে আছে কেন এখন সেটা আমাদের দেখতেই হবে। কারণ আপনারা জানেন ইদানিং একটা দেখা যাচ্ছে কিশোর গ্যাং নামে, কেন ছেলেমেয়েরা এই পথে যাবে? এটা তো আমাদের জন্য গ্রহণযোগ্য না। তখন তাদের পড়াশোনা করা দরকার, তারা কাজ করতে পারে, বিভিন্ন কাজে যে যোগ দিতে পারবে, কিন্তু এই লাইনে কেন গেল সেটাই আমাদের বের করতে পারবে। এখান থেকে তাদেরকে বিরত করা, তাদেরকে একটা সুস্থ পরিবেশে নিয়ে আসা, সেটা আমাদের করতে হবে।
Education Minister Mohibul Hasan Chaudhry, Prime Minister's Education and Cultural Affairs Advisor Dr. Kamal Abdul Nasir Chaudhry and State Minister for Education Begum Shamsun Nahar spoke on the occasion. Education Minister Mohibul Hasan Chaudhry Naufal said the overall pass rate of SSC examination has increased this year compared to the last year. He disclosed these figures during a press briefing at the ministry in the capital. The Education Minister said a total of 20,13,597 students sat for the SSC exams this year. Out of them, a total of 16,72,153 students achieved passing grades. The Education Minister said the pass rate of the General Education Board is 83.77%, while that in the Madrasa Education Board is 79.66%, and the Technical Education Board is 81.38%. He also said female students did better than the male students this year in securing GPA 5 and pass rate. Meanwhile, after getting the results through mobile phone SMS, students elated themselves in ecstasy. Many of them rushed to their schools to celebrate their success. Not only the students but also the guardians, especially parents, turned themselves in a joyous mood. It was a common scenario in most schools in the capital. Teachers alongside the students and guardians also enjoyed and celebrated the success of their students. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina invited the Italian businessmen to invest in Bangladesh to grab potential of its local markets along with the entire South and Southeast Asian markets, as the country is in the center of opportunities. Businessmen and investors can invest in Bangladesh's special economic zones, she said, while Italian ambassador in Dhaka, Antonio Alessandro, called on her at Ganobhavan this morning. While briefing, speechwriter to the Prime Minister M. Nazrul Islam said, during the meeting the Premier also emphasized increasing trade between the two countries. Sheikh Hasina said after 2026 Bangladesh will step into the developing countries arena as she sought Italian assistance to continue her country's GSP Plus facilities to export Bangladeshi items to the European countries. About the illegal migrants in the European countries, including Italy, the Prime Minister said the government is taking all-out initiatives so that none illegally enters any overseas country. She requested Italy to take more Bangladeshi manpower through legal process. The Italian ambassador said his country wanted to assist Bangladesh in technology transfer and defense purchase and modernization in various sectors. He also expressed his country's keen interest to provide second satellite to Bangladesh. Secretary to the Prime Minister's office, Muhammad Salahuddin, was present at the meeting. Earlier, Archbishop Kevin S. Rendall, Apostolic Nuncio of the Holy See to Bangladesh, paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Speechwriter to the Prime Minister M. Nazrul Islam said, during the call-on, the Prime Minister said Bangladesh is the country of religious harmony where Muslims, Hindus, Christians and Buddhists are living peacefully. Sheikh Hasina also invited the Pope to visit Bangladesh through Archbishop Kevin S. Rendall. Archbishop Rendall appreciated Bangladesh's stance and move on climate change and Rohingya issues. Speaker Dr. Shirin Sharmin Chaudhry hoped that Bangladesh Institute of Parliamentary Studies would keep an important role in enriching the parliamentary democracy. She said this today while speaking at the board meeting of BIPS at Parliament Bhavan. It was addressed among others by Deputy Leader of the Parliament Motia Chaudhry, Opposition Deputy Leader Anisul Islam Mahmood, Chief Whip Noor Alam Chaudhry, Whip Iqbalur Rahim, Opposition Chief Whip Mujibul Haq Chunnu, Law Commission Chairman Justice ABM Khairul Haq, Legislative and Parliamentary Affairs Secretary Dr. Hafiz Ahmad Chaudhry, Judicial Administration Training Institute Chairman Justice Najmun Ara Sultana, Senior Secretary to the Parliament Secretariat KM Abdul Salam, BPATC Rector Mohammad Ashrafuddin and Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Medical University Vice Chancellor Dr. Din Muhammad Nurul Haq. Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Baitul Qadir said, "No unseen power but Sheikh Hasina's government, which is elected by people, is running the country. The concept of unseen power is the psychological trauma of BNP," he added. Ubaidul Qadir made the comments while addressing a press briefing at Dhanmondi in Dhaka this afternoon.
কোন অদৃশ্য শক্তি বাংলাদেশ চালাচ্ছে পরিষ্কার করে ফখরুল সাহেব এটা বলবেন কি? এবং আরেকজন জাতীয় পার্টির চেয়ারম্যান জিএম কাদের সাহেবও বলেছেন সিন্ধুবাদের দৈত্য নাকি সরকারের কাঁধে চেপেছে। বাংলাদেশে সরকার পরিচালনা করছে জনগণের দ্বারা নির্বাচিত সরকার। বঙ্গবন্ধু কন্যা শেখ হাসিনার নেতৃত্বে বাংলাদেশের জনগণই রাষ্ট্র পরিচালনা করছে। অদৃশ্য শক্তি দ্বারা সরকার পরিচালনা তো বিএনপির আদর্শিক চরিত্র।
Ubaidul Qadir said the country saw huge socio-economic and infrastructural development under the leadership of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina during last 15 years. The ruling party leader also said BNP leaders wearing goggles cannot see these developments. They are busy in hatching anti-national conspiracies, he added.
শেখ হাসিনা নির্বাচনের আগেই বলেছেন যে নির্বাচনের পর দুর্ভিক্ষ সৃষ্টির পায়ে তারা চলছে এবং নেতাকর্মীদের তিনি এ ব্যাপারে সতর্ক করে দেন এবং সেই চেষ্টা অনেকেই করছে আন্তর্জাতিকভাবে এবং দেশের অভ্যন্তরে।
Awami League Joint General Secretaries Mahbub Alam Hanif and AFM Bahauddin Nasim and Organizing Secretaries BM Muzammil Haq and Abu Saeed Al Mahmoud Shapun were present at the press conference. Foreign Minister and Awami League Joint General Secretary Dr. Hassan Mahmood said BNP has now started to depend on invisible powers after the elections were held. They are now leaning towards amulet and dua, he added. The minister said these while briefing journalists in Cox's Bazar today. The foreign minister said the relationship between Bangladesh and the United States is better than any period in the past, and U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for South and Central Asian Affairs Donald Liu is coming to Bangladesh to take this relationship to a newer height. Dr. Hassan Mahmood said 138 more Myanmar border troops took shelters in Bangladesh. Dr. Hassan Mahmood is now in Cox's Bazar to take part in the second meeting of Parliamentary Standing Committee on Foreign Ministry.
এবং তাদের সেনাবাহিনীর সদস্য পালিয়ে আমাদের দেশে এসেছিল। আমরা মায়ানমারের সাথে আলাপ আলোচনা করে তাদেরকে ফেরত পাঠিয়েছি, কিন্তু নতুনভাবে আরও 138 জন এখন বাংলাদেশে পালিয়ে এসছে। তোর মধ্যে একজন লেফটেন্যান্ট কর্নেল, দুজন মেজরও আছে, অর্থাৎ সেনাবাহিনীর একজন লেফটেন্যান্ট কর্নেল, দুজন মেজরও আছে। তাদেরকেও আমরা একই প্রক্রিয়ায়, অতীতে যে প্রক্রিয়া আমরা তাদের ওখান থেকে পালিয়ে আসা বিজিপি অর্থাৎ মায়ানমার বর্ডার গার্ডের সদস্য এবং সেনাবাহিনীর সদস্য সহ যারা পালিয়ে এসেছিল তাদেরকে যেভাবে আমরা ফেরত পাঠিয়েছি, একই প্রক্রিয়ায় আমরা এখন যারা পালিয়ে এসছে তাদেরকেও আমরা ফেরত পাঠাতে পারবো বলে আমরা আশা করছি।
South Korean Ambassador Park Young-sik called upon Textiles and Jute Minister Jahangir Kabir Nanak at his Secretariat office in Dhaka today. Secretary of Textiles and Jute Ministry Mohammad Abdul Rauf was present on the occasion. During the meeting, they emphasized on exhilarating bilateral trade cooperations between the two countries. The Textiles and Jute Minister urged South Korea to provide training facilities to Bangladeshis in garment sector and also to provide modern machinery to increase production capability. South Korean Ambassador Park Yong-sik expressed his country's keen interest to invest in the jute and leather sectors of Bangladesh for mutual benefits of both the countries. He also said they are encouraging Korean companies to invest in various projects of Bangladesh. The Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Railway Bridge over Jamuna River is now fully visible. All the 49 spans of this structure have been installed. The 4.8-kilometer bridge will cost Taka 16,780 crore, jointly financed by Bangladesh and Japan. People involved in the construction of the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Railway Bridge, including engineers and workers, are working relentlessly to open the structure in December this year for movements of trains. Insiders say as many as 88 trains will be able to run over the dual-gauge and double-track bridge daily. Tangail district is on the eastern side of the Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib Railway Bridge that connects Sirajganj, the western side of the Jamuna River. As a result, the northern parts of the country will come under a smooth rail network promoting industrialization and business. And now international news. More than 300 people have died due to heavy rains and floods in different provinces of Afghanistan. The World Food Organization (WFP) reported this on Saturday. In such a situation, the Taliban government has declared a state of emergency in the country. Baghlan, Thakar and Badakhshan, as well as western Gard and Herat provinces, received heavy rains in the poverty-stricken agricultural country on Friday. This has caused floods in rivers and streams. Villages, roads and farmlands in various provinces have become muddy. Along with the government, various non-government organizations have deployed rescue workers in the affected areas. Warnings have been issued in some areas due to the threat of communication disruption due to flooding. Egypt said it will formally join the lawsuit filed by South Africa against Israel at the International Court of Justice, which accuses Israel of violating its obligations under the Genocide Convention in the Gaza Strip. Israeli military tanks have started to go deeper into the Jabalia refugee camp as part of a new offensive in the northern Gaza. The offensive, which has forced thousands of Palestinians to flee, comes months after Israel declared Hamas had been dismantled in the area. The European Union condemns Israeli evacuation orders in eastern Rafah as hundreds of thousands are once again forced to flee. Meanwhile, anti-government protests continue in Israel, calling for a deal to bring captives. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has renewed his call for an immediate humanitarian ceasefire in the Gaza Strip as Israeli forces have killed more than 35,000 Palestinians in the besieged territory since the attacks began in October. India is bracing itself for the fourth phase of its week-long elections tomorrow to elect 96 members of parliament to the Lok Sabha, as the world's largest electoral exercise moves into its final month. The fourth phase of the Lok Sabha elections will cover 96 seats across 10 states and union territories. The phase 4 of the general elections will witness voter participation from all 25 seats in Andhra Pradesh, 17 constituencies in Telangana, along with 13 seats in Uttar Pradesh, 11 in Maharashtra, 8 in West Bengal, 8 in Madhya Pradesh, 5 each in Bihar and Jharkhand, 4 in Odisha, and 1 seat in Jammu and Kashmir. Educational institutions, including schools and colleges, will remain closed in these states in view of the polling day. Russia is blaming a Ukrainian strike after an entire section of an apartment building collapsed following an explosion in Belgorod. The regional governor said 2 bodies had been pulled from the rubble. At least 19 people have been injured. The regional governor of Belgorod, Ivashevlov Gladkov, accused Ukraine of bombarding the region, describing the cause of the explosion as a Ukrainian shell. Meanwhile, the Russian Ministry of Defense said Moscow's forces captured 5 villages in a renewed ground assault in northeastern Ukraine. Ukrainian officials on Saturday did not confirm whether Russia had taken the villages, but Ukrainian journalists reported that the villages of Borisivka, Oirtseve, Pilina and Strilecha were taken by Russian troops on Friday. Polls have opened in Catalonia in a regional parliamentary election whose outcome will reverberate in Spain's national politics. Today's ballot is going to be a test of the strength of the separatist movement in the wealthy northeastern part of Spain and of the policies of Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez, who is attempting reconciliation with the separatists. More than 5.7 million voters are eligible to choose lawmakers for the regional parliament based in Barcelona. If voters do not validate that by coming out in support of his Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, it would be a blow to the leader who heads a minority coalition in Madrid. Meanwhile, opinion polls suggest a comfortable lead for a candidate backed by Socialist Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. Now, weather. Met Office in its weather forecast till 6 p.m. tomorrow said rain or thundershowers accompanied by temporary gusty or squally wind is likely to occur at a few places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Khulna divisions and at 1 or 2 places over Dhaka, Mymensingh, Borishal, Chattogram and Sylhet divisions with hails and isolated places. Day temperature may rise slightly and night temperature may remain nearly unchanged over the country. And now sports news. Zimbabwe defeated Bangladesh by 8 wickets in the last T20 match of the 5 matches in the stipulated 20 overs. Mahmudullah Riyad scored 54 of 44 balls and Najmul Hussain Shanto scored 36 runs. In reply, Zimbabwe scored 158 runs for just 2 wickets in 18 overs, 3 balls. For the team, Sikandar Raja scored an unbeaten 72 of 46 balls and Brian Bennett scored 70 runs of 49 balls. Bennett was named man of the match for his all-round performance. Taskin Ahmed was adjudged man of the series for taking 8 wickets in 4 matches. However, Taskin's injury has been a big sad news just before the World Cup for the Tiger fans. Bangladesh Sports Press Association BSPA's Sports Carnival 2024 will kick off on May 14. Executive of patron organization FM Iqbal bin Anwar, Rabiul Islam Milton, President of the organization Rizwan Zaman Rajib and General Secretary Saman Hussain presented the details of the carnival at a press conference at the Bangabandhu National Stadium in the capital today. More than 100 athletes are taking part in the 10 events of 7 disciplines in the week-long competition. To end the bulletin headlines once again. Results of SSC and equivalent examinations published with pass rate of 83.04%. 1,82,129 students get GPA 5. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina asks authorities concerned to find out reasons as to why boys lagging behind girls in academic results. Number of students with GPA 5 declines, but overall pass rate of SSC examinations increases due to various government initiatives, says Education Minister. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina invites Italian businessmen to invest in Bangladesh as Italian ambassador calls on her. The country is being run by Sheikh Hasina's government, elected by people. concept of unseen power is BNP's psychological trauma, says Obaidul Qadir. Bangabandhu Railway Bridge is now fully visible over River Jamuna and expected to be inaugurated in December this year. Afghanistan declares emergency as more than 300 people died in flash floods in the country. And Zimbabwe beat Bangladesh by 8 wickets in the last T20 of 5-match series in Mirpur. And that's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for being with us.